Seriously, how good does that look? Oh. I'm Schuey, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to smoke pork ribs. I'm even going to show you how to make your own pork rub. So just sit back, grab a drink or two, and let's get into it. To make pork ribs, we're going to need some beer. Got it. I meant whiskey. It's all right. Pork ribs obtained, as always, from Gippsland Premium Meats. And these are Coarsely branded pork ribs, weighing in about 1.5 kilos a rack. These Coarsely pork ribs don't need a lot of prep. Just trim off any excess fat. What we've got here, I'm happy with. Then flip them over to expose the bone. There's a membrane here and we need to remove it. So using a butter knife, because it isn't sharp and it won't hurt the little pig, just slide it under the membrane and pry it off. Now it is a slippery little sucker, so use some paper towel to get some grip and it's easy to pull off. How easy was that? Look at you trimming up pork ribs like a pro. It's that time of the cook, it's time for a rub. Time to make a rub. So it's time to get all of this into this. Mix this up real good to make sure we get even coverage on the ribs. Pork ribs don't need a binder, so starting on the bone side, we're just going to sprinkle on the rub, getting good coverage. Then just give them a nice pat, say job well done, and flip them over. Now just give the flesh side a good coating of the rub as well. Don't forget the ends and sides. Now we can just put these aside and let them glaze over. I say glaze over because as the salt and sugars react with the moisture being drawn out of the flesh, it's going to turn that dry rub into more of a glaze. Today I'm going to be using a 57 centimeter Weber kettle, and I'm going to be utilizing the snake method because I want to be smoking at temps of 150 to 160 degrees Celsius today. So how I'll do that is by setting up some briquettes to form the snake. And today I've gone for 2 rows at the bottom and 1 on top. Smoking wood goes on next, and today I'm using a couple of chunks of sugar gum and a couple of chunks of cherry wood. Just place 3 chunks around the snake, leaving about a 50mm gap in between each piece. And this piece will wait until our Weber's at temp and we're putting our ribs in. Lastly, add 14 briquettes to a chimney starter. Light them up. Once they're all ashed over, dump them on one end of the snake. As always, I'll add a foil tray to help him clean up and catch the drippings. Put the grill in place, adding an ambient temp probe to the grill on the opposite side of the lit fuel. And pop the lid on, opening all the vents, and make sure that lid vent is on the opposite side of that lit fuel as well. And we're going to track the temp, and once it gets close to our target temp of around 30 to 50 degrees Celsius off, we're going to start closing down those bowl vents. Now I say 30 to 50 degrees Celsius off our target temp because on a hotter day that temp's going to climb a lot quicker than on a colder day. If you didn't know, there's a Schueys barbecue Facebook page and Instagram account, so go and follow them. Or don't, but don't blame me when you miss out on cool stuff. The barbecue's at temp and we can get these ribs on. Look at that, see they've been sitting there with the rub on them for about an hour and now they're all glazed over. Hence, no need for a binder. So we're just going to pop them on the opposite side of the lit fuel, and we're going to throw that chunk of wood on top of the lit fuel. Put the lid back on, keeping the lid vent opposite our lit fuel. What's that going to do? It's going to draw the heat and the smoke over our food. And we'll just check these in about an hour. No peeking. Leave them alone and go and amuse yourself. It's been an hour and it's time to check the ribs. So we're just checking the colour and also with a finger, making sure that rub won't come off. These look perfect and it's time to wrap them up. So we're going to use 2 layers of foil, and to that we're just going to sprinkle on some brown sugar, add a good drizzle of bee juice and a few knobs of butter. So we're just going to grab the ribs and we're going to lay them flesh side down, and you want to wrap them up nice and tight like a big bear hug, like if you're in jail with Bubba, the overly touchy cellmate. So we just want to pop these back in the Weber and we're going to check on them in about an hour and a half for tenderness. This would be a great time to subscribe to the channel, and while you're there, hit that bell button. That bell button's going to notify you every time Bubba wants a cuddle. Today I'm cooking with an indirect heat of 150 to 160 degrees Celsius. And the ribs will take around 2.5 to 3 hours to be ready to shove in your face hole. Or for those of you who like to follow my beer timer, you're looking at a 6 beer cook. Yes, finally a 6 beer cook. But don't forget that cheeky whiskey we had at the start. It's time to check the ribs. They have been basting away for an hour and a half now. Total cook time though is 2.5 hours. We are just checking with a skewer, or like me an instant read thermometer, that there is no resistance. These are ready for the next step. So what we want to do is just fold over the ribs, exposing the flesh side now, and just roll up the foil, creating a little boat for our ribs. And we're just going to put these back in the barbecue for 10 minutes. And if you want to sauce them, now's the time. but I'm not sourcing these ribs today. Now, if your ribs aren't tender at this stage, just wrap them back up and check them in another 15 or 20 minutes. That's time to pull the ribs out of the barbecue and prepare to make happy sounds while you're eating. Seriously, how good do they look? Hey, stop trying to lick your screen. Seriously, pork ribs couldn't be any easier to smoke in a barbecue, so why aren't you doing some right now? Easiest way to slice up pork ribs is turn them upside down so you can see the bones and just cut in between them. These are seriously that good, they should be illegal. As always, cheers for watching.